Today's rapid recap is for Monday, October the 20th, 2025 for BTG Beyond the Gates. This episode wasn't too much happening, everybody. Ted sends Nicole flowers. We've got Mona and the girl, what was her name? Laura, her assistant. And they were just over gaga and over the beautiful flower arrangement. And Mona says, "Ooh, is this from Carlton? Is he stepping up his game?" And Nicole looked at him. She goes, "No, it's not Carlton." So she opened up the card and she gave the card to Mona, and it said, "Thanks for last night, Ted." And they're like, "Oh, what happened last night?" And I was thinking, okay, did they not leave when the fire extinguisher went off? But she ended up talking to Mona. They sent Laura out the room to make tea, and she told him what happened, that, she and Ted were getting close and they almost kissed, but then the fire alarm went off. And she was saying it was a sign that, she shouldn't go there with Ted and blah, 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 whatever. So Mona's like, "Look, I am not trying to excuse anything, Ted, that he has done, but you two were happy." And she says, "Yeah, I thought so." That's what Nicole says. "I thought so. But look what happened." And she says, "And I just can't." So anyway, Ted is at Orphe Jean's having breakfast. Had invited Eva to have breakfast with him, and she came. And he goes, "How you doing this morning?" And he goes, "I'm fine." She goes, "I thought you'd be a little more, down in the dumps than this." And he's like, "Why? I'm doing better than fine. I'm good, you know?" And she goes, "Okay, how could you be good?" And he says, "Well, Martin him and Smitty had a little vow renewal ceremony." And she goes, "Oh, he did, huh?" And so Ted looked at her and says, "No, it was strictly just him, Smitty, the kids, me, and Nicole. That was it." Now, Kat was invited. Kat just had something better to do. So she goes, "Oh, okay." And so he goes, and she got a little sentimental. And she goes, okay." And he goes, "So, I mean, I'm hopeful." She goes, "Just because she got sentimental at a wedding, that doesn't really mean too much, Ted. I hate to burst your bubble." He said, "Then why did she show up at my hotel room last night?" And Eva said, "What?" "She did. And what happened?" He says, "It kind of got intense. We were getting real close, on the brink, of a kiss. And the luck would have it, the fire alarm goes off." She goes, "The fire alarm?" He said, "Yeah." So we had to evacuate the hotel. And Eva says, "Was there a fire?" He goes, "No." So he says, "But that just let me know there's hope, because Nicole and I got the closest last night than we have in months, right?" So Eva's like, she had a flashback of what Leslie told her about. Oh, she's going to go to Ted's room, right? So she goes, "You know what? I forgot I have a stop to make before I got to get to work. I got one more errand to do before I get to work. See you at work, Ted." She runs out. She goes to see Eva at the country club, who is acting just like I don't belong here. Got the beat headphones on and just sitting. First, she was more at the bar area. And people are looking at her. Then she gets herself a table. Yeah. And one lady turns and just looked at her. She goes, "It's my jam. It's my jam." And I'm thinking, oh my God, how embarrassing. Right? So Eva sits down and she goes, "Hi, mama." She goes, "Hey, baby." She goes, "So, what'd you do after we saw each other here?" "Nothing, you know." She goes, "I hear There was a fire at the hotel where you're staying at. The fire alarm was pulled. What? The fire alarm was pulled? I wonder, was there a fire? I wasn't there. She said, cut the crap, mama. She's like, I know you did it. She goes, how could you think that I did something like that? She goes, because that's what you would do, mama. Not caring that pulling the fire alarm in a hotel, people could get hurt trying to rush out thinking there is a real fire. But you don't care about anything like that. You know, I know it was you. And she goes, ah, okay, you got me. Yeah, it was me. I was going to make sure that Nicole couldn't stake no claim on my man. And she's like, Ted is not your man, unfortunately, mama. And that pulling that fire alarm may not have worked like you hoped, right? So anyway, Nicole, Ted texts Nicole saying he was at Orphe Jean's if she wanted to talk. So she picks up her purse and she tells Mona, I got an errand to run, I'll be back. She goes to Orphe Jean's and they're talking. And it was a nice conversation. And he said, you know, Nicole, last night was the closest that we've come in months. He goes, it's giving me hope. And look, Nicole pulled that hope rug right out from under Ted. And he goes, if that fire alarm hadn't been pulled, she said, oh, we would have ended up in bed. And he looked at her. She says, and I would have regretted it in the morning. And he's like, why? Where's she goes, Ted, I would have fallen back into a familiar that's not where I'm at anymore. So he goes, I thought you were coming here to tell me that you forgive me. And she goes, I do forgive you, Ted. But I'm not forgiving you for you. I'm forgiving you for me. So now that I can close that chapter and allow myself to move on. And he just looked at her. She says, so I'm sorry. No, our marriage is done, right? So she stands up and he stands up. And he goes, but Nicole, and she just hugs him. She goes, goodbye, Ted. And she walks out. And I thought, okay, then let it be over. I can respect that. Not every woman can take back a cheating husband that currently cheated with the same person. 20 years later, you repeat the same mistake. Nicole could have gotten over the 20-year ago mistake, but you made that mistake current in 2025. And the chick you made it current with, every time I cross paths with her, wants to rub it in my face. See, you let that happen, Ted. You know the kind of woman Leslie is. And now she has something she could say, no, not no 20-year-old mistake. Nah, he right back and he gonna be back again. See? And there would be no way that I would not believe Leslie. She would engineer it so that it would happen again, and weak Ted would fall right into it. And then look at me and say, it'll never happen again. Yeah, it'll never happen again until it does happen again. So, anyway, let's hope Nicole closes that chapter for good. I have a feeling Ted is going to go after June. And we're going to see Leslie getting probably downright almost deadly with June. Because we know how Leslie gets. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. The street versus the psycho. You know, the street versus the psycho. So the only other thing, and to me, oh, Vernon had this mysterious phone call about he had to cancel meeting them and he missed seeing them and he looked forward to seeing them again. But Anita walked in and he hung up real quick and she goes, and what was that mysterious call about? And he made something up about, I guess a golf date. He's been trying to play golf again. He's been going out in the mornings. And she goes, so that's where you've been disappearing to. I don't know. They better not make Vernon a cheater. Otherwise, I'm not going to say through with Beyond the Gates, but I'm going to be too through with that formula because not every black man is a cheater. Not every white man's a cheater. Not every Hispanic man's a cheater. Not every man is a cheater. So we don't need to see, look, let's go into every demographic of cheating man. We don't need to see that on Beyond the Gates. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it at all. So we'll see what it better be planning a big birthday party for Anita or something like that, right? So anyway, they decide they're going to call Danny and Andre over, summon them to the house, and grill them about them staying married. Vernon takes Andre out to the parlor. Anita's in the living room with Danny. Going on, and this is not a traditional marriage. I mean, love. Are you in love with him? Is it because do you love him? And she says, I love being around Andre. I love how I feel when I'm with Andre. You're not answering the question. She goes, Mother, you know what? She goes, do you love him the way you loved Bill? Danny says, I don't want to love another man the way I loved Bill. That was unhealthy. And I lost myself. Andre and our relationship is not like that at all. And I love what we had. She stood her ground to her mother, and Vernon had Andre out there. And Andre has stood his ground and handled himself very well with her family from day one. And he did the same yet again to Vernon. So then Vernon brings him back in, and Anita says, how'd your conversation go? And Vernon looked at Andre. He goes, it went very well. I'm actually impressed, right? And Andre's kind of like, mm-hmm. Right? And he goes, how'd yours go? She goes, Danny's convinced me. He goes, so the only thing I can say is, you know what? Congratulations, you two. Right? Congratulations. And I thought, well, you know what? They still were going to stay married, whether you congratulated them or not. But okay, let there not be any more inquisitions towards Andre. He's answered enough, folks. He's answered enough. So that was it. Nothing else happened on the show today. It was very non-eventful. So let's go to comment corner and let's see what comments we have on comment corner. I'm starting my timer. All right, I'm gonna read some of Shirley's because Shirley, you did a great long comment. Shirley said, Ted needs to close the door on Leslie all the time and stop somehow giving her mixed signals. He does. After Martin and Smitty were saying their quotes, it's like it rang true to Nicole and Ted as they kept looking at each other throughout the ceremony. She goes back to his hotel, and when she held him, you could see it in her eyes that she loves Ted and wants to be with him. It's like she feels safe in his arms, used to, right? Then Leslie would be the reason she doesn't because of the affair 20 years ago, plus what happened between them recently. Nicole wants the truth. Ted, uh, she wants to trust Ted, but right now she can't because she may feel that he and Leslie could happen again, and it could. She would be right, right? She doesn't want to put her heart out there again only to have him break it. And unfortunately, I think he would. But everybody go back and finish reading the rest of Shirley's great comment. Richard says, another great recap, daily recap. Lady, I agree. At least there is hope for Ted and Nicole and Ted. After today, nope, there's no hope. Um, Leah says Jacob's brother is coming next week. He and Eva look like they have chemistry. Hopefully, it will help her stop thinking about Tomas. Or she could decide that, she wants to use him to make Tomas jealous, which would be a bad idea because Tomas wouldn't be jealous of him. He'd only be jealous of that guy as if Jacob's brother went after a cat, and he should already know cat because they're like in-lawed, kind of, they're not related, but in-lawed, married in-lawed. Because, yeah. But anyway, Lucy says, Anna Marie Bullock is Tina Turner's other name. Leslie uses that as an alias. Thank you for saying that, Lucy. I asked somebody to say what the name was. Golden Hour Goddess says, Leslie makes it really exciting when there's nothing going on. I hate that Eva uh it has a Leslie streak in her because Tomas is after Cat and Crotchy Cat, LOL. I don't know. Haley had some gangster in her. Oh, but I'm staying tuned, honey. I'm honestly sick of Naomi. Me too. And her not wanting a baby. It feels like they're dragging it on, but it's Beyond the Gates. Beyond the Gates usually does things really fast. So let's wrap that up fast. She may divorce Jacob or end up staying pregnant after all. I think she'll lose the baby. I don't think Beyond the Gates is really going to have any babies on the show for a while. They don't need any. There's no way they're going to write that she will chop shop a baby. I don't know what that is. Um, I low key want to see the McBride family drama unfold more. Where is Doug and Vanessa's daughter? I need answers, LOL. And Cynthia says, I was glad Ted closed the door in Leslie's face. Cleo says, I'm over Leslie and her BS. And then Juanita says, I'm sick of Leslie's storyline. At this point, she is stalking. She is Ted slash Tomash and sexually harassing Ted. She's pulling that fire alarm. Her pulling that fire alarm was high school BS. I'm bored with her character. Yeah, some things it's like, nah, y'all need to come up with something better. I'm with you on that. I am so with you on that. Let me see. Juanita. And then Wendy says Ted was way wimpy when it comes to Leslie, 'cause he likes her and he doesn't know how to say no thank you. Really? Yeah, I ain't even saying thank you. It's I. H no. H to the no, girl. Get out of here. Exactly, Soaring Room says. And then Sandra, goodness, I'm starting to cough, y'all. I enjoyed Martin and Smitty, and really some of the family members uh should talk to them when it comes to love and marriage. I don't know about that. I'm happy that Nicole went to Ted's room. It might sound crazy, but then having a long history of marriage and family, it was hard for Nicole. Plus, Ted had her heart. Just give their marriage one more try. Well, she's not going to. Leslie is just too much. Leslie is just too much hopeful. Hopefully Nicole uh will be the one to put a stop to her insane doing. Well, Nicole actually could, especially, when she's just not a Leslie. Because Nicole could easily uh, make sure she runs into Leslie and the way Leslie does and says, oh, I gotta get some rest. I was at Ted's hotel room last night and the fire alarm got pulled just in time because we were burning up. But you know what? We went back to our house, to our bed, and boy, did we just, it was nothing but fire all night long. Leslie would lose it. Because, see, you can't say they stayed in the hotel room. She knows she pulled the fire alarm. But Nicole said, we went back to our house and our bed. Oh, woo, yeah. And Leslie would just be seething. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's how you get somebody like Leslie back. And then Leah says, I enjoyed the ceremony. I think Nicole needs to grieve her marriage. She has been focused on staying strong and not letting LSD get to her. And then Black Purple Turquoise, the last comment, says, I'll read the first paragraph. Nicole did not need to waste any of her time going to Ted's hotel room. He needs to accept he slept with LSD again because he's really wanted to. However, the alcohol is a classic annoying cheater's excuse and I can't stand. I was drunk. Give give him the courage to go full speed ahead and betray her again. Even if it had been looking like she was going to forgive him, Ted blew it. Um, of that, blew all of that up when he slept with Leslie again. Yes, he did. And now that their divorce is final, he can go on about his business and leave her alone. He really should. Come on now. Everybody read the last great comments paragraph of Black Purple Turquoise comment. I'm already at 9 minutes, y'all. That is it. That's it for Comment Corner. I'll be back tomorrow with another daily recap of BTG Beyond the Gates.